If you enjoy this video and would like to hear more of my stories, please click like and subscribe to be notified of when I release a new story. This video is a bit different from the other ones I have made. This isn't a story about one of my battles or away days. This video is all about old school terrace casual legends such as Carlton Leach, Cass Pennant, Jason Mariner, or any of the classic mobs in their heydays such as the Soul Crew, Zulus, the Naughty 40, or the County Road Cutters, for example, coming up against the new era of casual mobs emerging now in this generation. What is the difference between old school mobs and this current generation of mobs? Who would come out on top and why? I know they are completely different eras, but let's just say if a top old school mob at the top of their game came up against the current mob in a pre-arranged battle offside somewhere, no old Bill, just a 10 minutes toe-to-toe, who would come out on top and why? We all know the scene was totally different in the 80s, 90s and very early 2000s to what it is now. I am going to talk about the differences that I have experienced. It is only my opinion. Everyone has different opinions and experiences. I can only talk honestly about my own experiences through my own eyes. Let's start on clothes. In my day you had to be a dresser. It was essential. Massively frowned upon if you didn't have the right gear on. You couldn't really be a respected senior lad if you didn't have the right gear. Nobody had to tell you either. You just kind of automatically knew. Everyone around you was a dresser. Mobs you came up against were all dressers. It was like a uniform, an unwritten rule. I knew lots of lads that were very handy with their fists, tough as nails but didn't dress, and it just wasn't right. You just had to look the part. I was spending almost a week's wages on a new garm every Friday when I got paid back then. It was important. Now to me, it doesn't seem the same to me with mobs of this generation. It seems to be accepted for lads to wear fake Stone Island gear. Fake CP company gear you can buy from Sunday markets up and down the country. At the moment I am seeing a lot of fake Napa Pedri jackets. It's embarrassing. They are all so obviously fake too. Don't get me wrong, some of these young football lads are dressing well and look good, but there are a lot of fakes, and it seems to be accepted. That wouldn't have happened before. No way. Also, scarfers and shirts are wearing Stone Island and football casuals gear now, and everyone looks the same, so the lines are blurred. In the good old days, you could spot the rival firm outside the ground, or by the pub, because they would all be wearing Burberry, Aquascutum or Stone Island. That's how you identified them. Scarfers wouldn't dress like that. The proper younger lads now are wearing all black and concealing as much of themselves as possible to go undetected by the old Bill, because they really do mean business. They really do want the row without any silliness, any media attention. They just want to go under the radar for an actual toe-to-toe. That is one thing I respect about this current lot. I would love to hear the viewer's opinion on this. I could be totally wrong, and if anyone disagrees, just leave a comment and let me know why. I think, in my era, you could also get away with a lot more than now, especially in the early years before the old Bill was on top. Banning orders, surveillance and government crackdown put in place by Maggie Thatcher. The mid to late 80s you could go anywhere every week and have it proper with other mobs without consequences from the old Bill. It was like the Wild West every Saturday. Mobs taking absolute liberties on other people's manor. Good toe-to-toe battles with big numbers. People would get seriously hurt. You could really have it out, and not for just 1 or 2 minutes like today. I wasn't active until the early 90s. And it was already getting on top then, but I did witness some of these battles in the late 80s. I was too young to get involved, but I saw some of it. But now you can't do that. Not really. Mobs don't really go toe-to-toe for that long with that many people. You simply can't do it. It doesn't happen now. On the rare occasion you might get away with a little pre-arranged 5-minute battle offside somewhere, but that's it. And that's if you are lucky. I don't think it's possible for two main lads of mobs to have it out properly fist to fist, uninterrupted, undisturbed, somewhere private for a good 10 minutes. And that's not this generation's fault at all. It's just that there is too much surveillance around now. Then you have the dickheads that stand there filming it on their mobile phones and post it on Facebook or Instagram. 7 days later, the lads involved in the row are getting their doors kicked in at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting nicked. I have seen a couple of straighteners arranged in private places, but I have only ever seen that a few times. So I think that's a difference to battles between old school lads and football lads of today. Another difference between old school and modern day casuals, I think, is leaders and characters. You don't see it today as much. I'm talking about a main lad, a face you can associate with the firm. For example, come up against the Soul Crew and you had Anis Abraham as one of the faces, Birmingham Zulus, Barrington Patterson, God rest his soul, as one of their many, many faces, and so on. But all big, identifiable characters and leaders. It's still around, of course, but I'm not sure it is as prevalent now as it was before. You also have social media now, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's easier to arrange a fight off-site somewhere, although it's now more likely to be filmed on someone's camera phone and put all over YouTube, which could lead to a bang on the door from the old Bill, or your employer seeing it and you getting the sack. That's what happened in the recent riots and protests, and the same thing applies here. Some mobs are using Facebook groups to connect and arrange things, which is easier and great. Although I'm guessing the old Bill would be secretly infiltrated some of those groups and have surveillance on them, so you have to be very careful. People can get nicked for just writing a sentence on Facebook now. It's crazy. So, there's pros and cons of communication now for the younger generation, and we never had that. In the mid to late 90s you would get phone numbers for other main lads when on England duty. Then when you came up against a particular crew, the main senior lads would call each other, talk about how many numbers each mob had, and arrange a location to meet up and have it out. Or you somehow got hold of a pub landline number and give that a call. Sometimes friends of friends would get hold of a top lad's phone number and pass it on to you. In the 1980s, the hooligan golden era, there was no mobile phones, so there was no pre-arranged fights. Just rumours that such and such a firm would, but in a particular place or pub, you just had to literally turn up every Saturday, walk into the other team's town or train station, and have it out. Now the casuals of this generation have to deal with bubble travel, or bubble trips for high-risk games. It's killing the away day experience, and makes it almost impossible for any trouble in and around the ground on a match day. There are a few naughty ways around it which I won't go into detail about it on here, but it's difficult. Basically, bubble matches are games where all away supporters must travel on designated transport, usually club coaches or nominated trains from designated pickup points under police escort. Complete segregation from start to finish should prevent crowd violence. No drinking allowed on the club coaches either, and I think you are given your ticket to the game on the coach. I don't know for sure, I haven't had the privilege to attend a bubble match yet, and I don't plan to anytime soon, so if there's anyone out there that has attended one, it would be great if you could clarify how it actually all happens for us in the comment section. If this is what they have put in place now, what is the away day experience going to be like in 5 years' time? What other measure are they going to put in place? Sometimes I hear reports of scarfers, or shirts as I call them, getting attacked by mobs. That was a no-no in my day, and was frowned upon, although to be fair I am aware that, in some cases, shirts inside a pub have been attacked. The pub also smashed up, and then the mob involved bragged that they got a result on the rival crew's manor. Or for example, there are 4 football lads in their main pub. Just 4, all the rest are shirts or just locals. A mob of 30 have steamed into the pub, smacked the 4 football lads, then the shirts joined in, and they got a clump too. But because they had a go back, the rival mob classed it as a result. For me that's not a result, and it doesn't count, certainly shouldn't be bragged. We have to mention modern technology and police surveillance now too, which makes it very hard for the casuals of today. In my day, the police would walk into the pub, where you all were, and just start filming you on their camera, taking pics and video, which does still happen by the way, but the old Bill used drones now, which are very effective. Take pics and video of you in clear HD as you're walking to the ground, and you don't even realise. There's also the UK police football unit spotting inside football grounds, with a nice little office somewhere in the ground where they can monitor you. Another big difference is drugs. Some of us would take an E, go to a rave after the game and want to be everyone's friend, forget your worries and just party with everyone. Now it's Coke, taken before a game by the way, usually in the pub toilets. And although it will give you that short-term buzz and you will feel invincible, it can also put you more vulnerable for that very same reason. You will take more risks. You can also feel more paranoid. And when you are feeling like that, I think you are a bit less street smart, which is a big part of it, because if you are not street smart, you would just get nicked every week or get a nice 5-year banning order straight away. But on the flip side, you would be feeling invincible for a short period after taking the Coke, which comes in handy if you get in a toe-to-toe with someone. So, after hearing all about old school versus the new generation of casuals, who do we all think would win in a battle? And why? Leave us with your comments. Stay tuned for my next video. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you would like to see more, because I have many more stories to tell, then please like this video and click the subscribe logo in the bottom right of this screen. Thanks again and see you next time.